Hey, I want to share something with you. We did a meditation, which very few people do, after yoga. I did it online with one of the yoga masters. He's actually from Ukraine, believe it or not, but he did a lot of animal flow schools in different parts of the world. Long story short, meditation. During meditation, he says, relax. When he gets into that regressive state of saying relax muscles, when he said relax your face, I started laughing so hard. And pretty much that's my relaxed state, is laughing, is freaking laughing. And then I remembered every laugh I had the other days. Wow. So it turns out when you relax in your meditational state, whatever emotions come up is your baseline emotions. In my case, my baseline emotion is just to laugh for no reason, because I look at the world, I cannot take shit seriously anymore. I mean, I was forced to do that during my childhood, growing up in Ukraine, where I had to be in survival state, and I didn't have proper childhood because of that. But now I'm like reliving it, and I'm just laughing. I'm laughing at everything. Like really, throughout the day, probably I'm laughing more than I have a serious face, or maybe not. It depends, but there's a lot of laughters. So yeah, meditate and find what is your baseline, and see how you can cultivate the positive sides from it. So much love.
As I am recording this audio message before sleep time, I'm just shedding tears. There's so many tears that falling on my cheeks. I cannot tell, I don't know even where to begin, but I'll just share the sequence of what's been happening this evening. And I don't know even where to start. The sequence will be random. I jumped on a phone call about my mission in Tanzania for the water. We talk about different things. Before that, I saw the moon rise, and the moon was so bright. And actually, while talking, I was looking at the moon. Before that, I saw a coyote. He just looked at me, and I kept the lights off for the whole evening. I didn't want to turn the lights on. Like the whole evening I spent with lights off. Then I walked outside. Just because the moon was shining so bright, I saw that the Orion nebula looks very unique. It just had some energy coming from it. And I saw the pattern, and I was like, man, the sword pattern looks so beautiful. I didn't even know it was a sword pattern, but I guess I knew deep inside. Then I looked at the Pleiades nearby, and it felt like it's so connected to the Orion belt, like the origins. So then I go inside, and something tells me just to go take a shower. So I go take a shower, and inside the shower, I'm just closing my eyes, and I'm asking, and there was a question that just came. It just says, Ali, you are such a random human being. You do things, this, like, why you're not just working some job, whatever. And then there was silence. I was not even scary, but I was like, wow, I've never been so silent inside. There was zero thoughts. So I opened my eyes, and it just says, well, and the voice came from deep inside, says, well, because you're a nobody. You are nobody. And the moment I walk out of the shower, I look at the phone, and it hits exactly 9:47 p.m., which is my time. It's a time of completion, the spiritual seeking on the earthly plane. And then this is where it gets crazy. I was just looking outside, right, at the stars. I go to bed, and my friend posts a video. His name is Hunter. His nickname is Hunter because he shares information. He debunks what's going on, with global news and stuff. And then he posts a video that showcases a guy that looks like me in a way. And he's like a lone warrior who gets the sword. And that's the Orion sword. Oh, there is more to it, but I'll stop here. The amount of synchronicities is just so overwhelming in the most positive sense. I'm just wishing you observing the nature patterns and find ways to connect with yourself. Contemplation, meditation, even just take a long shower. Yeah. So much love to you all.